Good evening, everyone, and welcome into the season finale of the Off the Reins podcast. This is the season finale for season one of the Off the Reins podcast, brought to you by the Stallion Stampede of Shotgun Sports Network. Guys, we are three-time spring football champions. That is the only time in spring football history. And guys, it's really few and far between of any professional team three-peating like we have. I want to say thank you guys for everything, all the support and all of that you've given me over this season and over the past years doing the Stallion Stampede. And I want to appreciate your continued support as we're going to transition into a new model going into the off season. We are going to have content coming out on Stallion Stampede, but make sure you guys are staying tuned to the Shotgun Sports Alabama page because we've got a lot of stuff coming your way. We've still got Legion, we still got Barons baseball, and then you got the Squadron and the Bulls coming up, and we've got all kinds of content coming your way for those guys. So before we get too far into it, we're going to go ahead and jump right on into the Birmingham Sports Brief, brought to us this week, as always, by Blue Spring Living Water. Guys, we're going to jump right on into it with the Birmingham Barons. Last week, they just finished off a series with the Blue Wahoos. It was a homestand at Regions Field. But unfortunately, like last time, the Barons wound up falling in the series 2-4. The Blue Wahoos are really, really good this year. They just seem to have Birmingham's number, even though Birmingham has some of the best pitching in minor league baseball right now. But those Blue Wahoos keep beating us in these series. Then this week, the Montgomery Biscuits, or should I say, the Montgomery Gray Sox, as this whole week was a tribute to the Negro Leagues, as it started off with the Rickwood Classic, where the Birmingham Black Barons took on the Montgomery Gray Sox, and the renovations that the MLB put into Rickwood Field were amazing. I know a lot of those are going to be coming down soon, like the Jumbotron. There's a wall that's going to come down for the cameras and all of that. So there's a few things that are going to be coming down. I think the back wall where they brought the outfield wall in, I think that's going to stay. I think they're going to keep it at that distance like it is, because they actually had to bring it in to make it possible to even hit home runs and make it compliant with the MLB standards for the MLB game that was on Thursday. As far as the game itself, it kind of looked rough for the Barons at first. I mean, they got a couple people. It was just hard. They were playing small ball. They were getting people on base. It's just they couldn't get the runs on in. Then toward the end, they started bringing them. They loaded the bases up, a couple walks and all of that. But it just wasn't enough, as the Gray Sox wound up winning that game, I believe 5-4. And also, that's when we found out about the late, great Willie Mays passing. And there was just a great, honorable standing ovation for him when that was announced over the PA system there at Rickwood Field. And then throughout the rest of the week, the Barons are now down 1-2 in the series against the Montgomery Biscuits or the Montgomery Gray Sox, and they're actually playing in the state capitol this week. So, they're looking to tie it up tonight and then win the series over the weekend. So we'll have to stay tuned for that one. We'll fill you in a couple weeks on how that went with the Forge podcast. But Birmingham is still number one in the Southern League, and especially what the most important thing is, the Southern League North, as we are 4 games ahead of the Tennessee Smokies, and there's only a couple more weeks until the end of the first half. So we got to make sure that we maintain this until the end of the series so that we can make sure that we are in the playoffs. As far as other news, like we mentioned, the late great Birmingham or Alabama native Willie Mays passed away on Tuesday. He grew up over in Westfield, over in West Jefferson County, and unfortunately, the legend himself, he was originally supposed to be here for the MLB game and be pretty much like the crown jewel of this game. However, unfortunately, on Monday we found out he was not going to be able to make it due to an illness, a physical illness. And then on Tuesday during the game, it was announced that he had passed away. So, such a legend. Him, Jackie Robinson, and Hank Aaron, and many others just led the way to put equality back into baseball the way it was supposed to be. So, rest in peace to him, and I want to thank him for all the things he's done. Not only that, the MLB game, they wound up having the flyover itself. He was actually in the U.S. military. He was drafted, and the flyover was really cool because they wound up doing the fallen man formation, where on the left flank they wind up going without one plane down. So it was really cool to see that, and great respect to him. And all of the festivities that went on throughout that the game, and not only just the game itself, but the pregame and all of that, they just really went all out. And it was supposed to be just a tribute to the Negro Leagues, which, it was. However, they wound up turning that into a memoriam for Willie Mays himself. So, good job to MLB and Fox Sports and everyone, the friends of Rick Wood and the city of Birmingham for putting that game on and getting it quickly turned over to a memoriam for Willie Mays. One of the best that ever did it, guys. So, as far as the game itself on Thursday, it was amazing. It was a really close game, and I think in the third, it was tied 3-3. So it's a really good game. Birmingham really showed out. They showed Birmingham in a really good light, and it really turned out to be much better than we expected and a lot smoother from what I've heard. I didn't get to go, unfortunately. Of course, credentials for that kind of thing were hard to come by, and I did get picked for the lottery. However, By the time I went in to get the tickets, they were already sold out because they sold out within like 5-10 minutes of releasing them. So it was crazy how quick those tickets were gone. There were a lot of people there as far as celebrities and all. They had Barry Bonds, King Griffey Jr., Reggie Jackson, A-Rod, all kinds of folks, guys. They brought in Willie Mays' plaque from the Baseball Hall of Fame, and then they wound up it was surrounded with flowers. So, guys, again, shout out to the league, to Fox Sports, and to the city of Birmingham for everything they did to get this going, because that was really big for the city of Birmingham and for Rickwood Field, the oldest ballpark in the country. So I was really impressed. We're hoping to hear that they're going to come back. If they do, I'm going to definitely try to get in there next year. If it is next year. If not, I do think that they are going to come back. If not next year, a following year, in the next 3 to 5 years, hopefully. Swapping things over to the Birmingham Legion. The Legion had a game on Juneteenth, which was Wednesday, and they had some new threads. They you can see the kit right there, and it was really cool. They had it was a really good matchup too as far as the game. This is one of the best offensive matches I've seen Birmingham play. They shut out San Antonio, but I say from the defensive perspective, it was a shutout, but they kept it in the zone, in the offensive zone, for a majority of the game. So kudos to those guys. Birmingham had 10 shots on goal to only 1 by San Antonio, which it's not the first time that San Antonio's only been on the other side of the half the field this week, only a couple times, and shut out by a Birmingham team. But overall, it was a really good, strong effort and a great win for the Birmingham Legion. The next game is going to be in Detroit, and we were going to have you covered for that. And the next game that's going to be at Protective Stadium is on the 29th. So we will see you guys there. We are going to keep you covered on that, but that will be in the first episode of the Forge podcast, guys. So remember, after this, the next episode will not be for about 3 or 4 weeks, trying to prepare for the Forge podcast. On to the Birmingham Squadron, where they are preparing for SummerSlam coming up on the 25th, which is next Wednesday, at Avondale Brewing Company. It's going to be a big watch party for the NBA draft, and they're going to have all kinds of giveaways. I think Avondale actually has a cocktail that they're going to make for the Squadron specialty. So it's going to be great. We're going to be out there, so I'm going to make sure we see you guys out there. So, as for that, another thing I want to see is that driver for Waterway, bringing my Blue Spring Living Water. Guys, it's getting hot out there. You got to stay hydrated, and Blue Spring Living Water has kept us hydrated all Stallion season long, and they're going to keep us hydrated throughout the summer. So make sure you get in touch with those guys and stay hydrated and take a step toward a healthier life with Blue Spring Living Water that's sourced right in our backyard in Blount County, Alabama. Switching over to the UFL Championship. Guys, again, 3-time spring football champions. It's not happened before. That Birmingham are the kings of spring. And really, I've got everybody talks about just Coach Holtz. Coach Holtz. Yes, Coach Holtz is a big part of it. Coach Holtz is probably the number one. But another thing is he has somebody behind in his back with his that's got his back, and that is Zach Potter, because Zach Potter can quote guys' stats from when they were in high school to when he was in college, all kinds of stuff, and he keeps these guys just running around in his head who the next guy's going to be. He's going to pick up all that kind of stuff. So Zach Potter, the GM, he's really bringing in the talent. I know Coach Holtz does a lot too. So those two guys together, I don't see how we can't go up for. The only other teams that have done that in recent history were the professional teams. The last team to do it was the Edmonton Eskimos. Shout out to Scout with the Elks call, which they're called the Elks now, because they wound up going for 5 in a row, 5 Grey Cups in a row back in the late 70s, early 80s. So that was the last time in North America that that's ever happened. So as far as the game itself, defensive first half, that's about all we can say about it. Let's see, San Antonio didn't cross the 50-yard line at all until the second half, but Birmingham kept getting close and close and close. We just couldn't get within range for a field goal until they wound up scoring that touchdown toward the end of the first half, where they started getting some adjustments, trying to get the reading of the defense a little bit, wearing them down a little bit. But Ricky Person and CJ really cut loose in this game. Good to see CJ out there. And guys, it was a really, really passionate game. A lot of emotions in there. And the second half was all Stallions. They were running the ball hard and getting through, and they wound up going up pretty big. So it was 25-0 at the end. But guys, the defense was on top of things. Gaeva Tizzino was big. We saw Gates make a few good moves, and then of course, we had the offensive line holding to get the CJ, Ricky, and Adrian room to run. The receivers were good, but they were covered. Kevin Austin had a couple good catches, but I think he had a 50-yard catch and run, but it was mainly just the running game that we saw, especially with Ricky, because he had a really long run too. So overall, I think that this team is the number one team. Honestly, it looked like both the quarterbacks kind of held back a little bit, honestly, especially rewatching the replay, the actual network broadcast of it, because Coach Holtz actually pulled Adrian to the side and was like, hey, You only have one guy. Why are you sliding so soon? At least try to get a first down. Um, but that was only one time for Adrian. There were a couple times where Garbers wound up kind of sliding a little too early. Um, but there were rumors that he may have had a deal after the game or whatever, but there's been no news coming out. We haven't seen anything about that, so we don't know what that was all about. If it was maybe could just be his not being ready for the game, just a mental error there. But again, this is the first time in spring football um, to see a three-time repeating champion. But it was good to see. There was a lot of celebrities out there. There were you had Destroying out there, which he was a kicker for San Antonio, and got injured. Then we had, of course, Tom Brady uh, handing out the MVP trophy of the game, and then it was won by Adrian Martinez. Um, and then we saw Kurt Warner a few times. He brought in the game ball that was presented by one of the dogs from the electronic dogs for the U.S. Army. And then he also brought in the UFL Championship Trophy, which I know a lot of people don't like that design. However, it really is. I like the design because from the bottom, from the base of it, it comes up with the two pillars that represent the two leagues, the XFL and the USFL, and then they come up to form at the top the UFL logo. So I think that's really symbolic, and I really like the symbolism in that piece. So I think that was a really cool design. We got our picture made with it, so um, it was an amazing game. I know a lot of people don't like defensive games. I love seeing defensive games. I love seeing um, high impact playing, everything going in on the trenches, because that's really where the game's won or lost. If you have a bunch of players going in and out, and you have no defense, so and you know what they say, defense wins championships, and that's what we saw. We wound up shutting out the Brahmas, and that was the first time in UFL history that a game was determined in a shutout. Um, it's one of I think, the second largest margin of victory of any game in the UFL. There were a lot of records that were set for the league in that game. Um, Overall, though, it was a great game. Great season. I want to thank a lot of people. I want to thank Wyatt with the UFL and everybody with the UFL. Bianca, Jeff, and all of those guys. I want to thank Taylor with Eventive Sports, and I want to thank Heather Jeffcoat with uh, Champ Creative, because all those guys, they were really helpful this season. I appreciate everything they do, and I'm looking forward to the off season and coming into the 2024 season, or 2025 season. Sorry, but we had a few things that we didn't get. We didn't get any parade. That there's a lot of things that kind of went into that because of the merger and all, trying to get the schedule set up and try to make sure that there's somewhere for these teams to play. It was a shifted down a later schedule, and unfortunately, because of that later schedule, for players to be able to go to camp and sign with an NFL team, they were able to be signed this past Tuesday, starting out. So it was it was going to be difficult to get a parade together. Plus, they had to go out to Arlington and get everything packed up and ready to go, do the physicals, exit physicals, stuff like that. So the logistics of it was not possible to do a parade this year. Fortunately, I do have intel that says that we are going to have multiple fan engagement events coming up. So stay tuned. We will get that stuff to you as soon as possible, as soon as we find out the details. So going into the players going to the NFL, we have 3 guys that we know where they're going to be. Reins Ahmed wound up going to the Commanders, but he went before the championship. We brought that to you, and I wish him the best. I hate that he didn't, I like Chris Blewett, and I like Reins Ahmed. They're both, really good kickers. But I wish Reins the best. Ricky Person Jr. To Seattle. I think that's going to be a really good fit for him. I hope he gets on the starting lineup, but if not, maybe we'll see him back next year. Let's see. And then Dondre Tillman is going to be headed to Denver. So it's going to be good to see what they've got for him up there. And like I said, this is the last episode of this season. I want to thank you guys for everything you've helped us out with and supporting us this season. I want to thank, like I said, everybody, Wyatt and UFL. I want to thank Taylor and Eventive, and then Heather with Champ. Guys, it's over with. But we were just stay tuned. We're gonna keep you updated on all of the players that are headed out to the NFL. We're gonna keep you updated for any other transactions we see, as well as the any kind of events that will be taking place here in the Magic City for your 3-time defending champions, the Birmingham Stallions. Stay tuned. We will have the Forge podcast coming up on the 1st of July, and then in the week after that, we will have the start of season 2 of the Off the Reins podcast. I want to appreciate you guys. I want to tell you guys how much I appreciate you guys for this season and how I'm looking forward to next season. So make sure you like, follow, and share, and giddy up.